How's it going, everybody? It is it's Red64 here, and today is a very weird video. So basically, my idea was I wanted to make a tier list video. I was about to make a little bit more of a serious video, and then I stumbled upon this, which is Team Fortress 2 characters, Team Fortress 2 Mercs, and how often they wash tier ones. I was like, okay, I was like, you know what? I have to. I got to do this. I have to pull this off. Like, a serious video will come out later. And like, this is just this captured my attention. Okay, this is just beyond fiction. Sip of good coffee. Well, now let's see what are these ranks. Stinks like absolute shit. Probably has an ass covered in skid marks. Gross. Very, very pungent stench fills up the room with their stink. Stinks a lot, but it's sometimes bearable. That's not good. Stinks, but it's not necessarily bad. Stinks a little, barely noticeable, and doesn't stink. I don't think anybody goes real. Okay, let's go by order, shall we? First off, Scout. I think Scout stinks a lot, but it's sometimes bearable. You know, he's a young, fine man after all. You know, he is a merc. Not only is he a sportsman, guy. He does sports and shit. And he also is a merc that does, these very bad jobs. But yet again, he's a ladies' man. He goes up to pick up ladies and stuff. So I think he doesn't care about it. I think he stinks a lot, but it's sometimes bearable. I think that. Next up is Soldier. I think Soldier. If we look Soldier from the comics, I think he stinks like absolute shit. Probably has an ass covered in skid marks. Like, I don't think he's very hygienic. I don't think he's very hygienic at all. So, yeah. And if you read the comics, you know. So, he goes up there. Next up is Pyro. I think Pyro would just have smell of burnt. I think Pyro would just smell like gasoline and burnt stuff. Like, I think he would have a very, very pungent stench, filling up the entire room with the smell of like gasoline and burning things. Pyro goes definitely here. Next up is Engineer. No, actually, next up is Demo. Or is it Engineer? I don't know. Forgive me. Let's go with Engineer. I think Engineer would stink a little, barely noticeable, because Engineer kind of like strikes me as a guy like, yeah, sure, he's a mercenary. He does a lot of work, He makes sentries, he's an engineer, he makes stuff, designs stuff. But then again, he's pretty, normal, I dare say. Like, he's a normal guy, I think he would, take care of his hygiene when he can. So, like, yes, his job is demanding. He would probably get sweaty and dirty a lot in the workshop and, building things and, having his sentries destroyed and, obviously being a mercenary with all the blood and explosions and stuff, and, his work as an engineer. It can be very messy, but I think, just because of that, he would be, showering a lot. So I think he would, like, barely stink, like, I think it would just stink a little bit, like, barely noticeable. Heavy, I would put Heavy in the... I would put Heavy same as stinks a little, barely noticeable, because yes, he is a mercenary, but again, judging from TF2 lore, from the comics, he does seems pretty like, like a normal dude. So I think he would definitely, because he cares for his family and stuff, obviously I think he would take care of his hygiene. And even if he like didn't, I think his mom or like his sister would say, "Hey, you stink. Go take a shower," and he would listen. So I think Heavy is definitely he's a very smart and intelligent guy. He's pretty sophisticated, I dare say, out of all of them. For all of you, might be a surprise, but hey, if you haven't read the comics, definitely do so. So yeah, I think Heavy would barely stink. Next up is Demo Man. I'm gonna put him with Pyro here. Very, very pungent stench fills up the room with their stink just because he like drinks a lot. And he would probably just smell like sweat and alcohol. So pretty self-explanatory. Also, he does a lot of demolition things, explosions and shit. And when he's drunk, he'd probably not wash himself very commonly. So he'd probably smell like fire. He would probably smell like burning plastic, alcohol, and sweat. Next up is Medic. Honestly, I'd say Medic would take a good care of his hygiene. Like, sure, he's a psychopath, right? He does all sorts of experiments, but like, just because he's a doctor, and because of all of the crazy shit he does with its chemicals and like blood and stuff, I think he would be like washing himself and cleaning himself up like all the time. He just strikes me like that type of person. Sniper, I would say he stinks like absolute shit. Probably has an ass covered in skid marks because he's always out there in the forests and sniping and shit. And especially as he's a sniper, he has to like spend like a lot of time in like one room as a sniper, scoping people, stalking them. He probably doesn't have a lot of time for himself, so that including bats. So I think definitely Sniper would smell bad because he always has to hide in places, and also he lives in a van. He pisses in a jar. I don't want to know where he takes a shit. But yeah, I think he would absolutely smell horrible. Like, I know he's a good guy. He's in nature all the time, and he does assassin work, so he'd probably smell like dirt, sweat, piss, shit, and blood. And next up is Spy. I don't think Spy would smell bad. Like, Spy is a fancy, classy gentleman. I think he definitely I think he takes a bath like twice a day. He just strikes me like that type of person. Like he cares a lot about himself. That would include hygiene. So I think he takes care of his cars, his mansion, suits, money, and I'm pretty sure he would be taking a lot of care for his hygiene. So, do you agree with my tier list? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Who would you put in these? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you're new here, please consider leaving a like, subscribe. This was a very weird video. Very weird video. I was about to make a more serious video, but then I saw this and I just couldn't resist. So there you have it. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. I respond to all comments. And without any further ado, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.